President Buhari condemns attack on Nandu village in Kaduna State, expresses deep concerns over reckless disregard to sanctity of life.
APC reacts to supplementary elections, urges electorate to remain focused.
World Bank commends Nigeria on erosion control.
Here is the news in detail. More revelations have emerged as to the real reasons behind the collapsed building in Ibadan, Oyo State.
This followed the discovery that 4 victims had earlier been evacuated to 2 hospitals.
Correspondent Ayo Mikun Ajibola reports that Oyo State government officials also spoke on the issue after a visit to the victims.
The delegation, which was led by the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Aziz Adedutan, visited the emergency ward at the University College Hospital, Ibadan, where Ismail Shegun was receiving treatment, before proceeding to a private hospital where Ridwan Oladepo and Ibrahim Saheed, who were also victims of the collapsed building, were both receiving treatment. While sympathizing with the victims, Dr. Adedutan, however, expressed gratitude to God that no life was lost in the incident. Though satisfied with the level of treatment given to those at the private hospital, he directed that the victims be moved to the state hospital for immediate free and medical attention. The delegation also visited the site of the incident, where they lamented that the incidents could have been prevented if the owner of the collapsed building had not flouted the state's building code.
We have found out that they did not allow the curing period to lapse before continuing construction. See, when you do your decking, minimum of 3 weeks, you must allow it to wait, to cure before you start putting blocks on it. They didn't allow that 3 weeks to lapse because I think they were in a hurry to complete the building on time.
So when I came here last Thursday, I discovered the load on the structure is just too much. But I was unable to discuss with the NTA because I believe I have no business with them, except the director who asked me to be.
They commended the effort of the emergency and rescue workers during the incidents. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Kaduna State government says it will collaborate with security agencies, traditional and religious institutions to restore peace in Sanga local government area of the state. This followed the killing of 9 persons in an attack by gunmen on Nandu village. A statement by the senior special assistant to the governor on media and publicity, Samuel Arwa, indicates that the attackers also razed several houses in the village. Meanwhile, the State Emergency Management Agency has been directed to provide relief materials to the affected community to ease their sufferings.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has urged actors in the communal and persistent violence in Kaduna State to come to terms with the fact that mutual violence has no winners but losers on both sides of the conflict. A statement by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says the president, while reacting to the endless carnage in Kaduna State, says he is deeply troubled by the fact that sanctity of life is now treated with such reckless disregard that people derive joy in shedding the blood of others on perceived enemies. President Buhari says no responsible leader would go to bed happy to see his citizens killing one another on account of ethnic and religious bigotry. He says the government remains committed to protecting its citizens. The president, while urging the communities involved to find lasting solutions, noted that lack of cooperation by those involved might frustrate government's effort towards this cause, especially if they are politicized. He therefore appealed to the warring communities to stop inhibiting the National Emergency Management's effort to deliver food, medicines and temporary shelter to the victims.
Still talking security, the Alumni Association of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies has made recommendations that are expected to strengthen government's efforts at promoting unity and national development.
Now, the recommendations are aimed at complementing government's efforts to tackle insecurity and terrorism in the country.
The association made this known at its 39th annual general meeting in Abuja. Correspondent Doing Dija reports.
Lack of viable economy to support the growing population as well as moral degeneration are some of the issues associated with insecurity globally. Rising from its annual general meeting in Abuja, the Alumni Association of the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies (KURU) decried the new forms of organized crimes in Nigeria, which include insurgency, kidnapping, and ethno-religious conflicts.
To also appreciate your effort towards building a better society by organizing a dialogue on democratic stability, for national security, and the implications of the farmers-herders conflict.
For the experienced Democrats and senior executives here who are alumni of the Institute, the meeting is not all about their alma mater, but a serious demonstration of their patriotism on nation building.
We intervene at all times on national issues that we believe will benefit the country. But the missing link, actually, is that the federal government is not using most of the report we have turned out from NIPS.
By creating technical committees that will understudy some of these challenges and advise government on the appropriate situations to take.
And with some of the realities on the outcome of the 2019 general elections, a collective engagement of both the government and the governed is required for the actualization of the sustainable peace and development in the country.
I've just finished election where Nigerians will see massive changes in terms of security and development of the nation.
The input of ANI will help in having an enhanced national security strategy
toward addressing the root causes of the Boko Haram, which include but not limited to poverty, unemployment, social inequality.
Also working on a lot of possible strategies
to assist the nation in coming together to a roundtable discourse.
The 39th annual general meeting of the Alumni Association of the National Institute again provided the opportunity to review the security situation in the country with
Many thanks, Doyi Dia. Now, the Nigerian Army has released the postings and appointments of some of its senior officers. A statement signed by the Acting Director, Army Public Relations, Colonel Sagir Musa, says